Today I'm going to turn House Co-Iron into Ministorum Priest, and I hope you'll join me because it's a relatively quick conversion. Greetings everyone, I am Sister Lilia and welcome to my armory. So first up I'm gathering some bits for this, not all of which get used. Then I'm removing the braziers from the top of the chain axes and swapping in the flame cage from said braziers, or from combi flamers, into the place, and then actually going to merge in the bottom of said flame cages or said braziers into the top of the flamers. Now, I don't actually go through too much of a complicated conversion with these because, in all honesty, that's the real thing that this mainly needed, was just modifying that and fixing up some gaps in places. Now these start out on the necromunda bases, but I do actually make custom bases for them. So yeah, you see me here carefully attaching that. Now unfortunately my fingers were kind of in the way, and I come in and add in, I carefully cut down the mechanism from the combi flamer where the attachment point is for the fuel tank. Carefully modify that so it can actually attach to a round surface, and both with a knife and with files, and come in and attach it onto the bottom of the chain axe. Because, I mean, stats wise I might as well count this thing. I mean, this thing's going to be a vindicator or exterminator rifle or exterminator chainsword. So I make sure I attach the flame in a way that in a similar way to the way the wind seems to be blowing from the perspective of the model, such as with that one I've got it going in the same direction as the smoke from the brazier. Now I've got custom bases I sculpted here using some extra milliput that I had left over after I had after I'd had to fill some gaps on some of the models. You see me coming through and doing the same process I did earlier with this one, this time in a different order. Coming in and attaching on the fuel tank onto the bottom of the weapon first, and then coming in and attaching then setting up the brazier. I really need to probably work out a better place for the camera so you can actually see what I'm working on. But yeah, you've got the little end of the flamer, getting it trimmed down so that you can actually attach in the brazier off the top of the chain axe. And keeping details such as the little flame hose. Now, this is a bit nuts that both things are on the end of the weapon, kind of. But, well, it's my model. These are nice sculpts. I do like them. I don't really do much else here because I haven't got much else to do with it, parts-wise. I'd love to add some servo skulls to these in future. And so the conversions and paint job are done. Just turn that one around there. So I quite like how these turned out, even if some of the paint isn't necessarily visible on camera. And in all honesty, I'm not going to keep that little servo skull on there. Now, I did paint the bases that come with them. And I'll use them on a future necromunda project. But the temporary base that you see the leader of the squad on, prima maternis, or mataris. The prima mataris. I'm not a big fan of the little cherub, but well, I might go back at some point and add more paint onto it. The two bodyguards, though, I like their design. They kind of remind me a bit of, like, their faces remind me of Death from Horrible Histories and that metal band that love looking like priests with skull faces on them. I'll just move her. Now, I haven't done any conversion on her just yet, because apart from putting her on a temporary, well, not a temporary base, it's actually the top cupola of a turret. because because when I get to actually do part 2 of this, which is later in the year, she's going to be riding in the turrets for an immolator conversion. Now I've borrowed temporary hatches from my other rhino rather dramatically, and since I've got it on this angle, those little candles you see up the top there were really bloody easy to paint. I overestimated how hard they'd be. It's like 3 or 4 colours, but really not hard. The white wings kind of were a bit of a nuisance to get to work right, but I'm also quite happy that I chose to go with the kind of tarnished copper, or not tarnished copper, the kind of patinaed bronze, because that worked really well. As for the tank itself, well, it's only partly painted. It's mostly there, but I've got more detail work to do. So here's how they are with a little miniature setup that I just figured I'd set up for your benefit. Now I'll take my camera off the tripod in a moment so as to get in a bit closer. We have a decent cohort. Also, this is a representation of the ministorum, well, of ministorum and Sister of Battle miniatures that I have painted this month. With the exception of the terrain, everything here has either been completed or fully painted this month. Admittedly, completed is a good way of summing up some of it. Prior to this month, the ones that I'd had started were the 2 named characters there and the Melter Sister. And I'll bring that one up to the front. Yes, I converted a Retributor Superior into a Melter Sister. I figured it looked cool. So yeah, we've got a fair bit of faith and fire, and more than one codex's worth of ministorum priests. Oh well. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you all for watching. There will be more ministorum and Sister of Battle stuff soon. Anyway, catch you around. Bye.